Hey everyone, I finished another training for my HR and this one was on immigration. That's one of the areas I'm interested in working in, so I do try to sign up for anything with immigration, with looking at how immigration works for Canada and America. And I always learn something new. We had one lawyer and we had very educated and professional people on there. It's quite complicated for Canada because if you want to bring people across who, like me, are at the CEO level, you have to look at the unemployment rate in the country and then basically prove that you need that person here, just like in England or any other sophisticated nation, and prove that you can't hire somebody within the country to do that job. So that's half the battle, but I'm not giving up. I am applying for roles in compliance. I'm continuing to apply at Teleperformance, and I saw an advert on LinkedIn. One of the South African managers has posted that they're looking for people, so I'm hoping that something will come up for me, because obviously if you're with a company, you don't want to leave. But if there's nothing there for you, you don't want to be sitting at home either wasting your life or working in wages which are way below what I should be earning. I was earning at least $35 to $50 an hour as a contractor. So for me, I would like to see that translate into a salary of $80,000 to $120,000 a year. And that's what I'm worth. So I don't know, I have to just keep at it, I guess, and keep applying. And I'm not just applying for jobs here, I'm applying for jobs in America. And some of the American banks, the American companies, they do reach out, they send me emails of jobs that they're recruiting for. And I apply for them, because if they're sending me the email, obviously they've looked at my profile on LinkedIn or somebody's referred me. So I do apply for those jobs in America as well as in other places. So I have to wait and see what happens. And when you're like me, when you're an executive assistant, you have to wear many hats. So you have to be able to adapt, to change, to look at where the opportunity is coming. And this is one of my favorite books, The Wisdom of Wolves, Leadership Lessons from Nature. So I keep it by my bedside. I know a lot of people hate wolves, they don't like them. But wolves and any predators, whales, eagles, lions, they all have a sacred a sacred way about them, or they are considered sacred depending on the tradition you come from. In the Lion Bibles are mentioned, wolves are mentioned. And one of the passages I read today from this book, it's just encouraging us to remember that at the end of the day, people have this thing in North America that they say, oh, we're family. But we're not family. At the end of the day, when they make the decisions, they're going to make the decisions for the business. They're not going to treat you like family. I mean, your family is the one that when you don't have food, they'll send you food. When you're out of work, they'll say, okay, let's share what we have so this person doesn't end up living in a tent. That's family. Or they'll say, you know what, let's keep them on the books until we have something available for them, because jobs will come up, we just don't know when. That's family. When you lay somebody off and you tell them, go on the website and apply for jobs, and if and when something comes up, the recruiters will contact you, that's not family. So we have to understand what we're talking about. And for the age that we are living in here in North America, I mean, for me, I would have liked to have stayed in one job, stayed with one company, never have to have moved around, go from education to healthcare to banking to insurance to, running my John Maxwell. I wouldn't have wanted that, because I'm not a risk taker. If I had had my way, I would have just stayed in England, stayed with Bovis Lend-Lease, and lived happily ever after in England. I wouldn't have chosen to come to Canada to go through all these different roles, different contracts, frustration of contract. People would hire me, companies would hire me and say, oh, it's going to be a 6-month contract. And then after 3 months, they'd let me go. And I'd say, but you hired me, you told me this contract is going to be 6 months to a year. So why aren't you paying me out the rest of that money? That's my expectation. And they're like, well, the business needs have changed. So who's got the time and who's got the money to go and seek legal advice, to get lawyers involved, to pay hefty legal fees, and possibly risk even going to jail because they don't want to pay the rest of that contract? People like me don't have the time and we don't have the money. So we just leave it. Unless somebody actually tells you, like the police told me, get a lawyer, or the people I worked with in the past, or the doctors, get a lawyer, you don't do it. Because you're like, you know what? I don't have money to fork out to go and spend it on legal fees and lawyers, who in the end I might not get anything anyway. So we walk away. We just leave it. But what did come out of this that was good for me, which other people envy when they shouldn't, because really I didn't enjoy it, is that I have gained cross-functional skills. I've gained skills from volunteering and working in healthcare because I supported executives in emergency management. So the executives that ran the departments where people come in when they're admitted through emergency. I worked in that area at Toronto Western on a contract. I've worked in education for U of T at Regis, running the library, putting together HR policies, dealing with customer service. I've gained skills working in banking, compliance skills, project coordination skills, project implementation. I know the different IT programs that they use, Jira, Confluence, Agile. I know the different project methodologies that they use. I've helped to coordinate immigration, working with the HR business partners. And then in customer service, I know how to put on a facade, because really when I work in customer service, I'm not myself. I do what they tell me to do. This is myself, this is me. I don't talk to the customers like this, and they know it. They're like, oh, why don't you talk to us normally? You guys are trained, right, how to speak to us. I'm like, well, yeah, we're trained because that's what we have to do. And they're like, no, it's not, you guys should be yourself. But when you're yourself, they don't like it. So, I mean, you gain cross-functional skills, and then you can adapt. You can go and work in different areas. You can work in different industries. You can work, I've worked in Zimbabwe. I've worked in South Africa. I've worked in London. I've worked with teams that I had people reporting into me from Hong Kong, from Singapore, from Vancouver. I did it all from here, from Toronto. So did I want to do it? Did I like it? No. Because it's very hard when people are on the other side of the coast and you're sitting here. It's much better if you are together than if they're sitting in India and you're here and you have language barriers, you have all different cultural understandings. It's not easy. But that's what this book is saying, that in this world that we're living in, that's what's going to be important in the future, is our employability. Because if you have different skills, if you have different educational backgrounds, if you have different ways of looking at things, then you are employable. What's happening to me shouldn't be happening. I shouldn't be sitting at home with no income coming in, because I have skills in different areas, different industries. I'm able to do different tasks. So yes, my profession is being an HR professional and an executive assistant. That's my profession. But there are so many jobs out there that I could do because I have transferable skills. I worked in retail. I worked at the Bay for seasonal work. I worked in the front line. I used to pack the goods. I used to talk to the customers. I used to make the sales. I worked at Future Shop. I did that same thing in Zimbabwe, in our business, or when I worked for the takeaways for Mr. Parker, or when I worked in the retail stores for Narans or Bahadas. I did the same thing. It's just that here it's in Canada. So, I mean, for me, sitting at home like this is very frustrating. It's very frustrating, and that's why I join these calls. I hop on the calls, I listen, I learn. But I mean, it's up to you. If you have the time and money to engage lawyers and get legal advice and they frustrated your contract, go right ahead. I never had the time, I never had the money, and people took advantage of me because they knew who's going to go up against BMO or go up against RBC. Are you going to do it? Are you going to get a lawyer to write a letter to say you owe this person a year's worth of wages because you verbally told them that you're going to give them a 2-year contract and you didn't do it? When they got home, you told them the contract is terminated. There's no good faith anymore. They say, oh, the company acted in good faith and you acted in good faith. But for me, my word is my bond. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I do it. The banks tell you they're going to do something and they don't do it. Just like when there was a case here on the TV, on the news a few days ago, of how somebody died and they transferred the money into the wrong bank account. So these people told him, your teller gave us that code to use, and the bank refused to correct it. So, I mean, you have to go on the news to tell people about these things. This is what's happening in Canada. And do you think the banks care? They don't care. They don't care. Did they give those people that money? They didn't. They didn't. And yet people like me who care, who are diligent, who are competent, we don't get those big paying jobs. Those jobs paying $120,000 a year. Those are the jobs I'm applying for. At BMO, at RBC, at TD, those are the jobs I'm applying for. Because I'll go in there and I'll shake things up and I'll change things just the way I always do. That's what I do.